This time on Road and Race, I get on with fixing the small, annoying little problems that have really been bugging me. Hello and welcome to another episode of Road and Race. This episode I should really be tackling some of the rust problems, but there's loads of little annoying things on the car that just bug me every day, and I just need to get them done. Before I go any further though, there is one urgent issue that I can't ignore any longer, and that's the clutch. There was actually a recall that Nissan did on the 350Z surrounding the clutch. What you'd find is that you'd be driving along, you put your foot on the clutch, it would go to the floor and your clutch wouldn't work and you'd be stranded. This actually happened to me with my old 350Z. I was driving home from work and my clutch just failed and I was stuck holding up traffic on the King's Road for a couple of hours. So I bought a replacement clutch slave cylinder and hose, and when I was at This Is Your Garage a few weeks ago, I got it swapped out. Big thank you to Richard, the technical director there, for helping me out with the filming. The clutch slave cylinder is located near the front of the car. Here is a new one, and here's a steel braided clutch line to replace the rubber one. So here's the existing rubber line, bit of penetrating spray. We've disconnected the hose from the clutch slave cylinder here. So we're going to reuse the heat shield on the new steel line. And just use some cable ties to hold it in place. Make sure you got the washers in the right place. So now it's just a matter of removing the old slave cylinder, fit the new hose to the hard lines and tighten it up. And here you see we fitted the new slave cylinder already, and we're just connecting up the hose to it. All you need to do now is top up the clutch fluid reservoir. And then bleed the system. Top it up to the maximum line. And we're done. So as you can see, quite a straightforward fix. The clutch pedal feels so much better now, nice and linear, and you can actually get the bite point now. So that takes us on to the montage of my quick little fixes. First up, I gave the car a thorough clean. After it was dry, I noticed these black marks that didn't want to come out. So I got out the quick detailer and the clay bar, and after a bit of a scrub, came up quite nice. I went round the whole car and clay barred it too. The roof was particularly bad. It had this gritty feel when you ran your hand over the top. Anyway, it's lovely and smooth now. And here you can see all the dirt the bar has picked up on the roof alone. Next up, the exhaust tips. These were filthy. It looked like they'd never been cleaned. Ever. Usually some metal polish and wire wool is enough to get most exhaust tips clean, but not in this case. I bought these wire wheels for getting rid of the rust under the car, but as I had them to hand, I cracked them out and attacked the exhaust. Here you can see it cut through the dirt quite easily. After I got the worst bit off, I got the metal polish out again, and I think you'll agree, came up quite nice. Now onto another small detail that was bugging me. This screw in the license plate. it's lost its little protective cap, so it's gone all rusty and horrible. Anyway, the screw head had kind of rusted to nothing, so I had to resort to some grips to get it off. To clean it up, I resorted to every mechanic's favourite tool, SIF. I'll likely buy a whole new license plate in the future, but for the time being, I'll just quickly clean this one up best I can. Here's what it looked like before, and here's what it looks like now. The Nissan badge on the bonnet was quite loose and just came off in my hand. So a plastic scraper to get the worst of the crud and leftover adhesive off. And then I used, yes, that's right, more SIF to get the rest of it off. To get the adhesive off the badge, I warmed it up with a hairdryer, and when it was soft, just scraped it all off. Using some weatherproof automotive adhesive tape, cut it out and stuck it onto the back of the badge, and then attached it back onto the front of the car. There's limited space inside the Z as it is, so to free up as much room as possible, the sat-nav is going. I don't use it anyway, the maps are out of date and my phone does a much better job. I then simply unclipped the brackets and pushed all the cables back down the hole. Then the remote control for the sat-nav went. Here you can see a couple of trim pieces that had just come a bit unstuck. Easily fixed with some super glue. Side skirt's loose here. Under the bonnet, look at this. It's not even held on. It's like someone didn't understand there was a battery flap here and just kind of ripped out all the clips just to get access to it. These are the clips that are broken. Nissan want £2 each for these, but for £10 on Amazon, you can get all these. Put the new clip in. So here's a bit of a strange one. After getting the car back from having the new tyres fitted, I noticed the driver's wheel arch lining had disappeared. The garage said they didn't remove it or steal it, so it must have just fallen off, which seems a bit weird. Anyway, good thing I noticed it because these are the hoses for the screen wash and they'd started to kind of wear a bit on the tyre, so if I'd left it any longer, they probably would have developed a hole. And here's my genuine Nissan front wheel arch. It was about £60 from Clark Motorsport. And here's the wheel arch lining all fitted. I'm telling you, it makes it a whole lot easier when you've got all new clips. And I finished off painting the steel parts of the brake line we exposed when we did the work a few episodes ago. Next time on Road and Race, we're at the track to see how the Z performs, and then we fit brand new tyres and see how that affects the handling and lap times.